All right then. So I allowed myself a little bit of a self-indulgent rant in the Excel worksheet analysis of King John's latest session coming right up. So I'll try and keep this short. The one thing that I wanted to say to add was that this business of claiming that he's a lifetime winner everywhere where he's ever bet is just such absolute nonsense. But perhaps what he means to say is that he's a lifetime winner when you add up all of the reels, as he calls them, the videos of his sessions. When you lump those all together. But if you then demand to know what happened in the videos that he didn't post or in the sessions that he didn't video in the first place, then that may well be another story. I mean, the great thing that I remember with John Sirasani is him doing one little session where he said that he was told at one casino that he couldn't play until he paid off his marker, and so then he went into this long thing of saying, "Well, they didn't tell me how to do it. They didn't send me an email telling me how to pay it. They didn't tell me what to do. They didn't give me any information at all." I just sort of say, "You silly fucker! All you got to do is go to the cashier's cage and pay your debt." But no, that's not the way it works with King John. He really is somebody a little bit different. Okay, so updating the King John greatest of all time file worksheet is always pretty much of a slog because he spends more time talking than actually betting. But I keep telling myself I need to be a bit more gracious about King John because he does a tremendous amount to illustrate the point that I've been trying to get across for years and years, decades. And that is that, in case you haven't noticed, anybody who bets flat or randomly against these tilted table games, particularly blackjack and baccarat, anybody who bets flat or randomly against these games expecting to make any kind of headway in the long term is, well, to put it politely, an idiot. He's in business for a different reason than you and me, of course. He's in business to drum up as much click activity as he possibly can on YouTube so that he can share in some of the billions that Google rakes in from ads every day. When he gets to the point of someone like Vegas Matt at one point, nearly 1.5 million subscribers and routinely 150,000 clicks per outing. He's talking about real money, or he would be talking about real money. To the best of my knowledge, Vegas Matt collects about 500,000 a month from his various different enterprises, from his sponsorships with online casinos, which by their very nature obviously are somewhat dubious in reputation and deservedly so, I think. He's got at least two of those that he works with, and of course he's got his performances that he puts on, and just like John Sirasani, Vegas Matt's job is to advertise, promote gambling, and put across the notion that betting randomly and stupidly and losing money is loads of fun. That's their job. That's what they do. And if you have any doubt about that, all you have to observe is that going from session to session to session over months and months and years, these guys learn absolutely nothing. They don't learn from their mistakes. They don't change their tactics. They don't adjust to circumstances. They don't ever attempt to recover prior losses. They just start over each time as if it was the very first time that they'd sat down at that particular game in their lives. And, that's the giveaway, because normal human beings who aren't supported by casino giveaways and big checks from Google, normal people like you and me tend to sort of think, well, that wasn't a very good idea, shouldn't do that again. Or I think I'm going to do things a little bit differently because this is costing me a lot of money. And of course, the really normal people say, wait a minute, gambling is a really crap idea. Let's not do this. Let's go out and spend the money on something that actually gives us something back, like, I don't know, amusement, happiness, improved life, little things like that, that generally speaking are more substantial and beneficial than dumping 5 or 10 grand into the dealer's tray before you go home from Las Vegas or wherever, Macau, wherever, Singapore, wherever, with your tail between your legs. So one thing that was repeated by John in this in this session was that he doesn't share all of his sessions with us. He talks about reels, reels as in film reels, which is a lovely old-fashioned way of describing his videos, but I get that. That's fine. There's no problem with that. It's kind of fun, actually. No reels for you. But he's talking about how at Circa, before he shot this video, he got his ass kicked to the tune of 9 or 10,000. We're not going to see that. He's not going to show us that. He said so. He said we didn't get any reels, So there you have it. It's really quite strange. Anyway, enough about that. Whatever he does on his channel, he has the right to do. Whatever he does with his money, he has the right to do. I've never argued about that. My problem is that people like Sirasani and Morrow and White and De Leonardis and what's his name, Burn Money, and Rivas and all of those guys are promoting the casinos in a misleading way. They are presenting it as being an exciting experience, losing money, and it just isn't. And the damage that's done by the gambling industry, it's almost unfathomable. I mean, nobody faces up to it. The politicians don't. Economists do. They're honest about it. I mean, they will confirm from time to time in new reports that the amount of taxes, the amount of revenue derived from gambling, setting aside the 250,000 or so people in Las Vegas who are directly employed by casinos, not Las Vegas, but Nevada as a whole, it's obviously beneficial to them. But they could be doing something else. They could be, if Nevada were to diversify into, as it talked about for the longest time, sort of warehousing where you don't pay inventory tax. Inventory taxes are something that they charge, I believe, in California and many other states, so that if you warehouse something, then you pay tax on the value of the stuff that's waiting in the warehouse to be distributed to other places. In Nevada, they talked about, sort of promoting the whole idea that it would become a kind of a warehouse state with no inventory tax. I have no idea where that is. What am I talking about? Let's get back to the matter at hand, which of course is blackjack, and the peculiar way that John Sirasani plays it, while telling us all that he is the world's greatest blackjack player. He's got a particular quirk, which it's not particular to him. There are one or two others who do the same thing. He and D-Gen Dolt have in common the fact that they keep breaking out into multi-hand bets, usually not more than two. The guy who loves to do multiple bets to a ridiculous degree is Jason Bulkey, Mr. Handpay. And I just stopped tracking him because he definitely is a cherry picker. He shows us only the things that make him look good, with an occasional salting of unlucky losing sessions so that he doesn't look like a complete fraud. I think he looks like a complete fraud anyway, but that's beside the point. Maybe that's just my interpretation. But the whole multi thing is just nuts. John demonstrated it again this time because let's go down here to the very bottom. This time he won his left-hand bets. In other words, just his first base bets. The one on the left hand won 8,000. Okay, his multis cost him 5,500, so he ended up making 2,500, or just 3.6% of his action. It's simply because he will not accept that multis are crap. Multis, I mean, think about it. How much sense does it make, when you're getting your ass kicked, to sort of say, oh, kick me harder? I mean, it just doesn't compute, as they say. So his total action this time was 69,000, and he won 3.6% of that, which is pretty bloody pathetic, let's face it. Going back up to the top, let's just have a look at the charts here. He had a 17% player advantage. Okay, this is obviously based just on the left-hand bets, but it was a 17% advantage, and because of his stupid multi-bets, he knocked that down from 17% to 3.6%, meaning basically that if he just bet flat, he would have made money, much more money, than spreading out to two hands and betting randomly and betting flat. But this is a guy who, like all the others, all the other people in this kind of like circus of YouTube gambling channels, he doesn't have to win, because he makes money from Google that pays him back when he loses. Although, of course, he's not telling us exactly how much he loses, except sort of in passing, like sort of saying, "Oh yeah, we were at Circa and they killed us, and so we're not going to be showing you that." Oh no, it's just, oh boy. So there you are. That's what it looks like for John. 5,500 lost in silly bets. His money, his choice. He can do what he wants. I'm just telling you, please, please, please don't imitate him. Don't copy what he's doing, because the guy is barking mad. And he also has a different agenda than yours or mine, okay? So anyway, let's go up to pattern betting. Pattern betting does best when the pressure's on. So the difference between the win percentage, the flat bet win percentage, 17%, and pattern betting's final win is small. It's 17% to 21%. Not a huge big deal. Big difference though is in action. Pattern betting won 4,175 on total action of 20,000, right? Our friend John, the greatest of all time, had total action of 69,000 and one less, won 2,500. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't think that is in any way relevant, then I've got no control over that. You're entitled to your opinion. But it's a mystery to me how anybody can look at Sirasani's behaviour, leaving aside the fact that he spends more time talking than betting and keeps talking himself up as some kind of a genius. Of course, that is kind of like fashionable right now in the United States, isn't it? For people with absolutely no talent to pretend that they're king of the hill. But hey, I've lost my drift now. I give up. I do get a little bit kind of like frustrated and worked up because, what else am I going to do? Really, honestly, because these people they're basically corrupting the story of gambling, pretending that it's exciting and entertaining and relaxing and thrilling and all of that sort of stuff. And after all the years that I lived in Nevada, not because I lost, people tend to sort of say to me, "Wow, you're so bitter about Nevada. You must have lost a shitload of money." I did not. What I did lose was a whole load of time because I became pretty much obsessed, not just with this strategy, which has been with me since, Jesus, 77, 78, something like that. When I first encountered a brilliant Thai mathematician who taught me a whole lot. I had my suspicions about blackjack in particular and how it could be beaten, but I wasn't killing it. And then I met this guy and had a couple of very long conversations with him and learned about his strategy, which was basically to be comped, to go off to Las Vegas, to Caesars or wherever. We're talking like around about the 80s, so that the win explosion of Las Vegas hadn't happened yet. In fact, Vegas was in a bit of a slump because Atlantic City had just opened and lots of people from the East Coast were going there instead of coming to Vegas. But anyway, his thing was to just go, take all the comps he could get, have a wonderful time. He'd arrive there on a Thursday night, he'd stay through, and he might not even start betting until late Sunday or maybe, whenever he felt like it. He would just bet when he felt like it. He would sort of do all of the things that I learned to do, which is to just walk away from a shit shoe. Don't just bend over. Don't do what. The classic guy is Crazy Cody Burn Money recently, who when he got bloody hammered for $1 million, and it was a horrible series of shoes. I didn't count exactly how many, but it was dreadful. And I'm watching this guy with dropped jaw because I'm thinking, what the fuck? Why are you sitting there taking this, for God's sake? They just bang, bang, bang. And he was betting at least two bets all the time and just getting murdered. His minimum bet was 25,000. Occasionally went to 50,000, But I think the house advantage against him eventually was like well above 15%. Crazy. As soon as you hit something that's not normal and that's not comfortable, get out of there, because the odds are that when you go somewhere else, you may not get out of trouble immediately, but the odds are that it'll be a more normal pattern. Like, for instance, here, when you look at pattern betting, here we got to turn around, 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 turn around. And so there are 10 turnarounds for me, for LG, I should say. One here for John and one more. So he had 2, I had 10, and still he only managed to win 2,300, whatever it is. Sorry, my eyes are not what they used to be. 2,500. On action of well over 3.5 times Algaes. It's nuts. Why would anybody watch this guy and say, "Oh yeah, well, I'm going to do what he does"? Maybe I've got it completely wrong. Maybe people out there are much smarter than I give them credit for, and they all say, "Oh, fuck that. That guy's an idiot. We're not going to do what he does. That would be crazy." Maybe that's how it is. I don't know. I just don't know. But it's weird. Anyway, the whole thing is weird. And, I'm just trying to suggest to people that if you can't afford to win, in other words, if you can't take a shitload of money to the table and bet with a plan and be ready to walk away, either because you can't make the next bet because it exceeds the table limit, so that's a get up and go indicator, or you just don't like it. The shoe is shit. Get out of there. Just, and watching these guys bend over, Degen Dolt does it all the time. What's his face here does it. Mr. Handpay does it. They all do it. And now we got Vegas Matt sort of saying, "Oh, I hate blackjack." So he's actually bucking the casino bosses by saying things like that. He doesn't do that very often, I'll tell you. He knows exactly which side his bread is buttered and jammed and creamed on top of that. So don't kid yourself. None of these guys are in this to teach you anything. They may be in it to entertain you, although I can't imagine how that happens. But they're certainly not in it to tell you how to kick the shit out of the house. So, anyway, I have talked long enough as usual. And one thing I have to mention: surrender, John's surrender thing. I am really annoyed because it continues to work for him, and it makes no sense. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, this is multis. All right, this little thing here. That's where it says multis. It means that's multis, and this is the cumulative effect. So right now, he's 53,150 up shit creek. Okay. He's made 24,363 for multis, but that's coming down. His best was 33 up here. At one point, he got 33,363 ahead. Now he's then he dropped to 21. Now he's back up to 24. But, and I have to reset this so that these, when they're repetitious, they disappear. Yeah, I'll do that right now. Hang about. Yeah, there we go. My apologies. It's easy enough to do. Yeah, so that the formulas are still there, but nothing is read as long as it's just a repeat of the last time. So he's at 24,363 right now, down from whatever I said, 33,363. So he's 9,000 down recently on his multis. On his surrenders. His surrender thing where he says, "Okay, surrender," and then he adds the 50% he gets back to the next bet. So he's 9,000 down on that, and meanwhile climbing fast in terms of the cost of his multis. So, this is a guy who should learn from his mistakes. Obviously, I don't expect him to pay attention to me because he won't be watching anything that's critical of anything he does because he thinks he's hot shit. But his multis are costing him a lot of money and he needs to stop doing that, but he won't because he doesn't have to because he can keep on losing because he gets his money back from Google. What else can I tell you? Anyway, I'm just trying to get things back to where they should be. So that's that. And that's that. Okay, next time.